Also, while we wait on my rest timer, my work on strengthening my wrists has been paying off. I've got very small wrists, very, very small when I first started lifting. Because when I first started, I was probably about 5'10", 140, maybe 150 when I was like 14, 15 years old. Just kind of structurally small wrists. Wasn't really a problem. My wrists would wobble on my bench press when I was first starting to get stronger. But it wasn't a matter of getting my forearms stronger that fixed that. It was really refining, having the bar sit really low in my outer palm, taking a slightly bulldogged or slightly internally rotated grip so the bar goes diagonal and sits kind of right above our ulnar process. And that way you don't have to have strong wrists. It's balanced here. There's no impulse for it to roll either way. So I do a lot of my bench reps with open hands at the beginning to reinforce that low position where I don't need to, because it's directly above the fulcrum, right? So there is no torque, there is no lever arm there. And then you take that well-balanced position and then you squeeze it and lock it in, and you can kind of stabilize hypothetically infinite weight. And so I never had to get my forearms too much stronger, just refine the placement and then lock in a good placement rather than setting it really high in the hand and then trying to lock and stabilize a relatively unstable position, because that's a big ask on your forearms the stronger and stronger you get to take a really big weight and stabilize it from a poor position in the hand. So I never really had to do much to address my forearms all the way up to a 600 bench. Like, of course they got stronger. I went through stints of training them a little bit because it was a little bit of a problem area for me, but they never hurt. Increasing my stability at the wrist did help me at various points, but it was more technical than it was doing accessories. But when I go to do heavy overhead stuff, ooh, they're screaming at me. They're like, Sam, I'm small and weak, and it's not just a bar placement thing. So I've been doing work to kind of strengthen a lot of aspects of my wrists and forearms, right? We can kind of break the forearm into 6 functions, right? We have like flexion, we have extension, we have radial deviation, in arm wrestling, rising, right? Ulnar deviation, and then we have pronation, supination. So I just try to train all those functions in the quickest way I can at the end of upper days. My favorite pronation, supination exercise isn't like an arm wrestling thing or anything. It's just a kettlebell on the ground, grabbing the side of the handle, flipping it for reps, kind of lying on the ground, forearms braced on the ground, flip back and forth, using like a 35-pound dumbbell. Brutal, really easy to take a couple sets to failure at the end of upper days. My favorite for radial and ulnar deviation is just grabbing either a sledgehammer or a shoulder rock, which is loadable, which is cool, and just doing like hold it sideways, tip it up, tip it back, for up, the weight's in front, back, the weight's in back, just for reps. And then my favorite way to train flexion extension, I don't like wrist curls. I've never been able to really get them to work for me. I've tried many different ways, just didn't click. So I just bought the rack-mounted wrist roller from Bells of Steel. No affiliation at all. If you guys want to send me free shit, hit me up. But that way I can just put weight down at the bottom. I can't cheat it by twisting it because it's rack mounted. And I'll just do like 30 reps forward, 30 reps backwards, 3 sets. And I've got 3 upper days, so it works really well. Pronation, supination one day, flexion extension one day, radial ulnar deviation the other, and just exposing my wrist to all of those different profiles in addition to doing my lighter weights with no wrist wraps on. No pain so far. Very nice.